What is up, YouTube? Today I'm coming back at you with another tabletop RPG review, and today we're going to be taking a look at another third-party published product. Alright, so this product is meant for fantasy tabletop RPGs. It is not specific to any one fantasy tabletop RPG, but can be used with a variety of different ones, which is something I really like in terms of third-party published material, as it gives a book a lot of variety and reusability. Especially this book. I'm a really big fan of this one. This one's a newer release, and I think it's really, really well done. I intend to use this quite a bit in my future sessions, so as a GM, I highly recommend this. This is a book only for really GMs. If you're a player, this isn't going to be a whole lot of use to you, but anyway, let's get right into it. And this one is titled Random Tables, Cities and Towns by Dr. Timm Woods. Like I said, this is a new release. This one is by, I think, Ulysses Press. Yeah, Ulysses Press. Published. It retails for $15.95. That's full retail price. And I can say right now, for $15.95, I find this book completely worth it. This is an all black and white book with black and white line art scattered throughout. Not a whole lot of art in this book. It's mostly just tables and charts that you will roll on. But there's a little bit of art in here. It's soft cover. I don't know if there's a hard cover. The only version I found was the soft cover. But it's got a lay flat binding, which is kind of hard to demonstrate without a table, but it does lay flat pretty well. And I think it's a pretty good quality book. It's got a nice matte cover. So it's not shiny, doesn't really pick up fingerprints, and I think it'll be really useful for GMs that tend to run their games as homebrew settings, so this will be very useful for that. Alright, so what is this book? Basically, this entire book is just a book of random tables for generating different sorts of content in your homebrew worlds. There's a short introduction at the very beginning of this book, but other than that, it is literally jam-packed full of nothing but generative tables, and there are a lot, and it's more than just you would think from the title of just cities and towns. It's more than just different cities and towns and buildings and stuff. There's other things in here that you wouldn't really expect, but I think are very useful. It really gives you all the tools that you need to make a city feel really lived in, which I really like. Alright. So it's got a number of different chapters. We're just going to go over the names of the different tables in here. We're not going to go too much about in-depth of them because there's a lot of tables in here. It's 167 pages, and so you got a lot of different tables in here. Alright, so the first chapter is called Places. And this is basically going to be all containing tables for generating different sorts of places. Alright, so it starts off with the D6 table of town sizes, moving on to town governments at a D20 table. I'm not going to say the size of each table, but they range anywhere from D6 to all the way up to D100 tables, depending on what sort of table it is and how descriptive they are in the tables themselves. Some tables have paragraph descriptions for each sort of section, and some have a simple 3 or 4 words. So it really varies from thing to thing, and you can really spin it however you want. But yeah, like I said, it starts off with town sizes, then it goes to town governments, town alignments, leadership quirks, town guard features, unique city defenses, buildings, which includes exotic shops, high quality shops, average shops, low quality shops, impoverished shops, exotic services, high quality services, average services, low quality services, impoverished services, general structures, interiors, decor, walls, floors, rooftops, understory walls and floors, sublevels, terrain, crops, seasons, climates, weather, natural disasters, illness, cures, legal punishments, holidays, and strange locations, I should say. And that is the entire first chapter. So you have a lot of stuff in that first chapter just for places. It gives you a lot to work with, and you can really generate, like I said, lived-in cities with all the tables that are in here. I mean, it covers everything from natural disasters that happen frequently to legal punishments, which is really cool. The next chapter in this book is called People. So this will help you generate different NPCs that live throughout the city, which is really, really nice to have. Alright, so the subtables, the tables that are included in the People chapter is moods, local gossip and rumors, random bystanders, which has subtables for criminals and troublemakers, townfolks and commoners, animals and livestock, traffic and hazards, guards and heroes, priests and preachers, performers and entertainers, merchants and business folk, messengers and speakers, nobles and royals. Then it goes on to tavern patrons, unique tavern features, mysterious strangers, street parades, bard songs, bard quirks, healer quirks, captain guard quirks, weaponsmith quirks, prison quirks, temple quirks, warden quirks, criminals, villains, prisoners, gangs, livestock, pets, vermin, cults, deities, and supernatural beasts. So you have a wide variety of stuff that you can really generate in the people section. And like I said, it goes into some things that you necessarily wouldn't expect in a towns and cities NPC generator. Things like a deity generator was something that I found quite interesting, as you can really get some really good ideas for deities, which isn't always necessarily included in a city sort of book. But it's very nice because the more ideas for deities you have, the more varied you can really make your campaigns. It also has things for cults and supernatural beasts, which I find very interesting, because you can really incorporate that sort of stuff into not just cities and towns, but really any part of your campaign, which I like. The next and final chapter in this book is called Property. And there's quite a few different tables in this chapter as well, but this is definitely the shortest chapter of all three. Alright, so it starts off with picking pockets, just a table of things that you can pick pockets for, a table for garbage, which if you're just rummaging through people's garbage, it's a whole D100 table of just random garbage, which I find very funny. Then you have simple tools, advanced tools, ranged weapons, melee weapons, armor, clothing, musical instruments, books, sentimental items, magical items, jail cell items, wagon contents, barrel contents, vault and safe contents, graves, alchemical components, magical alchemy components, which I'm not sure how those two really differ. That's kind of interesting that there's two different tables for that. Herbs, poisons, menu items, beverages, street food, supernatural food, and stuffed heads. And again, one thing I really, really enjoy about this book is there's always at least one table in each chapter that's something that you wouldn't expect to be included in this book. Things like a stuffed heads book. Stuffed heads table is just very interesting to include in here, but it really can give you some interesting ideas for sort of like witches' properties or witches' buildings, things like that, that you could decorate a witch's house with. But it's got a lot of different items that you could really add to any sort of building. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire contents of this book. I think that it's very well written, very simple and straightforward. It doesn't spend too much time talking about specifics of settings. It tries to do its best to be a utilitarian book that can be used across any fantasy RPG, which I really enjoy. And it can be really plopped into any fantasy setting. It's in-depth enough to really make your own spin and your own city feel really lived in, but it's vague enough to really be accommodating to multiple different settings, which I think is very useful. All in all, I think this is a great addition to any GM or Dungeon Master. I think books like this are a fantastic addition. This book in particular came out this year in 2020, and I definitely think it's worth a buy. You get 167 pages of wonderful tables at only $15.95 is really, really fantastic. I think it's pretty well constructed. It's got a nice, simple, easy to read font in a pretty large font size, which I find will be good for people of all different vision. And I think it's a great addition. It's a nice minimalistic book, and I think it functions really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment box below. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.